All righty, good morning. It's great to see you all, and we'll be joined by the others who are doing Diksha and becoming healed. But I want you to recognize when we do have the lyrics up that I am is a capital A on am, because it is you are awakening the I am within you. So as you sing this song, remember that you are awakening the I am, which is who you truly are. And off we go. Make sure you sing loud, cover up anything that might be happening up here. I am awakening, I am awakening, I am awakening to life. I am awakening, I am awakening, I am awakening to life. One life in which to make a difference. One day where I can make my choice. One built with all the planning. One chance to follow my heart. Why is that? Because I am awakening. I am awakening. I am awakening to life. Yes, I am now. I am awakening. I am awakening. I am awakening to life. One heart to love without condition. One mind where I can make my choice. One soul connecting with all others. One song, one people, one voice. I am awakening. I am awakening. I am awakening to life. Yes, I am now. I am awakening. I am awakening. I am awakening to life. Every morning when I look out my window, the sun is shining over my day. Even though I may not see it, it's still shining on in every way. Because I am awakening, I am awakening, I am awakening to life. Yes, I am now. I am awakening, I am awakening, I am awakening to life.
Thanks for coming out to play on this beautiful Sunday. It's good to see everyone. Reverend Lana Cairns, I hope you're having fun out in Japan with your family, getting some well-deserved rest. I am so happy to see everyone out here today. And let's go through our vision statement. Maybe. Our mission here is to create an expansive community of love, healing, and connection through compassionate spirituality to better ourselves and serve the world. And our vision is to awaken and empower the sacred self with all to uplift humanity. And this is such a great community filled with positive and loving people. It's so beautiful to see you all. We've got a great service today. Reverend Nicole is going to be standing in for Lana. And let me get the reading ready for you. It is the share. Oh, we have a share. Sorry, I was thrown up here 10 minutes ago, so please bear with me. And who do we have doing the share today? Reverend Nicole Merges is going to be doing the share today. And do you want me to do the full introduction now or when you come up later? Okay. All right. Welcome, Reverend Nicole.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? No? Hold on. Am I green? Okay. Oh, the volume's down. Okay, let me know if you can hear me now. No? All right. I just get to look at your beautiful faces. Okay, so I think I'm on now, right? Yes, you can hear me now. All right, this is kind of like my share today, because before the microphone was on, that's what I was like before I stepped into Science of Mind, and now when the microphone's on, that's what I'm like after Science of Mind. You know, Science of Mind has profoundly changed my life, and if you're new here, that is the philosophy that is taught here in the spiritual center. And I always considered myself a spiritual person. Even when I was young, I grew up Ukrainian Catholic, actually just like Reverend Lana as well. We share that in common. And I never really bought into the religious aspect, but even as a youngin', I knew that there was something greater than us and something that connected us all. And spirituality became an important part of my life. And then in 2001, I really wanted to bring spirituality to the forefront of my life. So I started looking for community and searching for a spiritual path that would deepen my understanding of myself and the universe. And then 9/11 happened, and I had a panic attack. And around that time, I was talking with a friend of mine about spirituality and about finding a community. And after that panic attack, I got on the phone, and I called him up, and I said, "Did you find a place?" And that very next week, after 9/11, I walked through the doors in a strip mall through what was then called the Church of Religious Science. And I sat in the audience, and I heard the message, and I felt something I hadn't felt before. I felt like I came home. They were speaking the same language that I was speaking in my heart. So I signed up for Foundations class, and here's the funny part. I was painfully shy. So I went through that entire Foundations class without speaking a word, raising my hand, sharing. In fact, I would call Reverend Donald, and we'd had a standing weekly meeting after Foundations class so I could ask my questions there. And I was young. I didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know that I had old wounds to heal. I had no idea. I was so clueless. But I kept showing up for the classes, and every class that I took, I discovered more of my true self. And in 2009, I graduated as a minister. And those 8 years were so transformational. I mean, there are people in here that I knew during that time, Myrna and Theryl. and my life just changed for the better. I could get up and public speak, I could teach, I could actually live my life without feeling like I was trapped inside my body. And you know, the Science of Mind is the foundation of all the work I do, whether it's ministry or coaching or energetic healing or walking with a friend and supporting them during a difficult season. All of that I can do because I not only learned Science of Mind, I began to apply it to my life. And this is such a spiritual center here. If you're ready for healing and transformation, you're at the place. So thank you.
Hello, there we are. Thank you, Reverend Nicole. That was absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to back her up on this. Those classes that I took changed my life, and they just absolutely took me into such a peaceful and loving place in my soul. So I am so happy to hear you got to break out of your shell and be fully yourself. I am going to go into our reading real quick. This is from The Science of Mind, page 445, called The Great Search. The world seeks a solution of its great riddle, the apparent separation between God and man, between life and what it does, between the invisible and the visible, between the Father and the Son. And until this riddle is solved, there can be no peace. Peace is an inner calm obtained through man's knowledge of what he believes and why. Without knowledge, there is no lasting peace. Nothing can bring peace but the revelation of the individual to himself and the recognition of his direct relationship to the universe. He must know that he is an eternal being on the pathway of life, with certainty behind him, certainty before him, and certainty accompanying him all the way. Peace is brought about through a conscious unity of the personal man with the inner principle of his life, that underlying current flowing from a divine center, pressing ever outward into expression. But this can never come by proxy. We can hire others to work for us, to care for our physical needs, but no one can live for us. We must do this for ourselves. So, taking a moment to connect with the part of you that can experience you as perfect, whole, and complete. At the core of who you are, there is a wholeness, perfection, and completeness. Take a moment now to experience that wholeness and that completeness. And in this space, allow yourself to experience fully trusting yourself to move through life. Know that all things that you experience in life are building skills to amplify your life. And know that you are moving into an expanded reality that brings you even more joy, more love, more connection, and more life. So for the next moments of silence, just really take the time to connect to yourself, experiencing living your life, and just take the time to really feel that. And knowing that God, universal energy, is all there is in this world, take a moment to see this universal energy as a bright white light all around you, a place where all creation takes place. Feeling the allness of this light that is also you, dissolve the boundaries that create you separately and the experience being the light you are in. This light is you, and you and this light are the source of all creation. Continue to experience emotions of empowerment and trusting yourself, knowing all things in this life are ultimately serving your highest and best good. Again, what thoughts and feelings do you experience in each moment? Really connect with this life experience you are having now. And how does it feel to experience this version of life? Coming back into your beautiful body, bringing all of this in with you, knowing that all guides, steps, and actions moving forward in your day-to-day life are leading you to this life that has begun in this moment. From meeting new people, to taking specific actions, to resting and just loving yourself, to being in community. Everything in every moment moving forward is leading to this end. You trust yourself to fully experience your empowerment, your true self, self-love. And knowing this truth, I feel gratitude for the universe larger than me bringing this to fruition. Releasing it to the universe, I allow myself to show up in gratitude daily and to move forward in joy, knowing it is done. As together we say, and so it is.
Well, just one sec. Life as we know it is a river. It keeps flowing, and you can either choose to fight against it and swim upstream, or you can go with the flow. The nice thing about the divine is the divine will create flow. That is our natural way of doing things. This little song is called Like a River, and it's got a bit of an island feel to it, so if you want to imagine yourself, butt in the sand, toes in the ocean, sun in your face, and enjoying all things that are good. Sorry, I have a lot of buttons to push on this. I think you can feel it, ma. Oh yeah. A little dancing in your seat. Oh yeah. La 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 la. Whoa, oh, oh. La 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 la. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. La 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 la. Whoa, oh, oh. La 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 la. Like a river to the ocean. Life is a river to the sea. Once you carry me, like this energy in motion. Life is what you make of it. Just believe, just believe. All you want is more money, more money. You think that it alone will end your pain and strife. No, no, no. And I think it's rather funny. It's funny that you let it through your lifetime. I say, like the river to the ocean. We are all water, we're all water in the sea. You and me, you and me. Like this energy, devotion. Life is love for all humanity, and what we see. Most people, they want more power. What people do is they push and shove you down. Yes, they do. When all they really do, all they really do desire, it's more acceptance and love. Let now, let now. La 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 la. Whoa, whoa, whoa. La 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 da da. Oh, oh, oh. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, oh. Like a river to the ocean, the ocean. We are all water, we are all water in the sea. You and me, you and me. Like a energy in motion. Life is what we make of it. Just believe, just believe. Life is a river. Life is a river to the sea. Life is a river. Life is a river. Oh, oh, oh. Life is a river.
Wake everybody up. So today our guest speaker is Reverend Nicole Merges, and she's great. When I very first started coming to the center, they moved into the Wheeler Farm, and she was helping everybody to get through that period when we didn't have a minister, and it's just been really fun to watch her grow over the years. She brings a lighthearted and relatable approach to teaching and embodying these spiritual practices and the practices that the science of mind teaches, with deep conviction that each individual possesses a unique gift to contribute to the world. She passionately guides others towards exploring and embracing the spiritual life. She's an ordained minister with a master in arts in conscious studies, along with extensive training in somatic and holistic healing. Reverend Nicole developed her life to devoted. It helps if you can read it early in the morning. Devoted her life to spiritual service since 2009. And she's a former director of spiritual and professional development at the CSL Home Office and is currently the founder of Bright Soul Wellness, where she supports spiritually curious and growth-minded individuals in reconnecting with themselves, navigating life's transitions, and living with greater clarity, ease, and purpose. She also cherishes her leisure time. You may find her exploring nature, foraging for mushrooms, making Instagram reels, or skiing down the slopes. She deeply cherishes time with family and friends and values quality time and connection. And she's just a very grounded and sweet soul. So, will everybody just welcome Reverend Nicole Merges.
You know, every morning I have this question if I'm going to wear makeup, like, should I put on mascara? Am I going to cry? And you sang Unconditional Love, and I felt the tears coming. I was like, no, not before the talk. There's something just so magnificent about being in a new spiritual community. It's, you know, you can feel the energy here of the possibilities. You can feel the openness and the sincerity and the curiosity and the willingness to explore something deeper together. It's really an exciting time for the Wasatch Spiritual Center, and I'm really grateful that Reverend Lana asked me to be here. I've known Reverend Lana for about 20 years now, and I have had the privilege to not only witness her big and beautiful heart, but to also witness how these principles also changed her life as well. I think anyone who makes a commitment to study the science of mind and apply it to their life, that is the natural outcome, is change, is transformation, is becoming who you really are underneath all of those layers that we pile up on us. You know, science of mind doesn't change us in a life suddenly becomes perfect way. We know that's not the case. We could try, but that usually gets derailed once we actually experience life and go, oh, life has ups and downs, you know. But the way that science mind changes us is the way that we relate to ourselves, the way that we move through challenges and changes, and the way we begin to remember what lives underneath the fear, the uncertainty, the doubt, the overwhelm, that there's something underneath that doesn't change. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I think that many of us are drawn to spiritual centers or communities to really connect with what's underneath what life gives us. And sometimes we come here because we feel like we have an obligation or a role, or a friend invited me here, or the talk title resonated. But I'm going to say that you may say those things, but there's actually a deeper reason why you're here. You know, beneath all of the reasons we give ourselves, there's actually a longing of our soul. so to speak, something that we're searching for, and we may not even know it. In Science of Mind, we teach that there is one life, one presence, one intelligence that is experiencing itself through and as all things, through and as us. So the divine is living within us. It is not something that is out there, but it is something that is deeply within us, and we can build a relationship with us. This isn't something that is distant from us. It's not something, again, outside of us, but it's really something alive within us. And that's what brings us into spiritual community, is the desire to remember that truth within us, to reconnect with what's always been there. So today, we're going to explore what it means to be connected when we're in the midst of a storm. And storms don't always arrive as dramatic events. Sometimes you can't even tell that someone is going through a storm. Sometimes they show up as uncertainty. Sometimes they show up as things that we're carrying that are really heavy, grief that isn't fully acknowledged, the constant noise in our mind trying to figure out everything. A storm can look like many different things. It can look like I got up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, or I'm having a deep life crisis, and everything in between. And when that happens, when we experience a storm, many of us instinctively want to do two things. One, we want to outrun the storm, pretend like it's not even there, or we, pretend like it's not there. It's busy. We're busy. We are always busy. Everything's fine. Everything's great. You're saying all of those things, right? But then inside, you know that something's not right. And sometimes those storms, they get entangled into our thoughts and emotions, and we lose sight of who we are when we are in the midst of a storm. And what can pull us out of a storm is awareness. When we become aware that we're in a storm and pause long enough to realize what's happening within us without trying to change it, sometimes in that pause, something remarkable happens. Space opens, perspective shifts, choice reveals itself, and we begin to recognize that while the storm may be moving through us, it is not the whole of us. There is something deeper that remains untouched. In fact, there is something within you that has never, ever been touched by any discomfort, any storm, any thought, any belief you have. That is the living divine presence within you. And from a Science of Mind perspective, that presence is never separate from us. It is always within us. And we can build relationship with that presence and capacity with that presence so that we can move through the storm without having it consume us. And the question isn't if present actually exists. The question is if we're willing to become still enough to recognize the presence within us. For me, one of those storms arrived earlier in this month, and it may not have looked like a storm from the outside for many people, but it sure was a storm for me. I had to rehome my cat, and I was the cat's person, and that cat was mine. It was not an easy decision. It was one that I kept pushing away for a long time, but then it became very apparent that the environment that I had wasn't conducive to the cat's medical needs. So I had to rehome the cat, and that was really, really difficult. And so, as I took the cat down to be rehomed, I remembered, and I paused long enough to remember that I am not the storm, that I am only experiencing the storm. So I gave myself permission to grieve, to cry, to act out, to scream, to tell my story over and over again to whoever would listen. And I really, in that space, before I did that, I had to fight the desire to want to control, to fix it, to do the logical answer, to do the right thing. But I knew better. I knew better to just let that sit aside and to allow myself to feel the storm while knowing that there was a presence in me that has never been scathed or touched. And that takes some work, but when you do it, miracles happen. And that was what happened with my cat. I took the cat to the Humane Society, and I absolutely knew the consequences of taking a cat with health issues to the Humane Society. But I felt like I had no other choice, and that was the choice that I made in the moment. So if I would have thought long and hard about that, that might not have been my choice. But I took her to the Humane Society, and she stayed there getting medical treatment for 10 days. And day 8, I started grieving harder than I ever grieved before. And I thought, wait, this is supposed to get easier, not harder. But I was really upset. I just couldn't control my crying. I couldn't control myself, my emotions. It was really hard. And then something inside of me said, you need to call the Humane Society. And I'm so grateful I was present enough to hear that. I made the call. And they literally were going to put her down that day. And they told me that if I didn't want her to be put down, I had to pick her up. Well, I had no idea. I knew the cat couldn't come back here. I wasn't going to let her get euthanized. So I said, okay, I'm going to pick her up. And I walked out of the house, and literally there was a raven hovering over me. I went in my car, and a shamanic playlist started playing that I didn't even put on the radio. And I realized that life is always talking to us if we could just have the capacity to hear it. And I went down not knowing what I was going to do next after I picked up the cat. And a miracle happened. By the time I got down there, a new home opened up for my cat. And it just wasn't any home. It was actually somebody, my daughter's friend, who stepped up and said was going to take the cat. So now the cat is living with her. I get to see the cat. I get to be a part of the cat's life, and the cat is getting great care. And none of that would have happened if I thought I was the storm. None of that would have happened. I would have never taken her to the Humane Society if I really thought what the outcome would be. I was in the moment. And so I offer you this, that when we're going through the storm, if we could remember that there is a divine presence within us that is just waiting for our recognition, then we can move through the storm and feel the feelings and get the emotions out and still feel grounded in the one. Still feel grounded in the one. And so in the midst of the storm, I invite you to remember that the divine presence within you. And I invite you to feel the intensity of the situation without being consumed by it, without being succumbed to it, without feeling like a victim to it. Because when you allow yourself to be in the storm and know that there is something within you that knows, then you can move through life and hear the signs, the universe speaking, whatever language you use, God speaking to you. You can hear that inner voice, and then you can have the recognition to listen to it, to become aware, and to act in the moment without overthinking, overdoing, or overanalyzing. It is the awareness of that divine presence that had me stay with myself through the thick and the thin. And that's one of the gifts hidden inside our storms. They reveal where we've lost connection with ourselves, and they invite us to find a way back. So there is a blessing in every storm, but I caution you not to go to the blessing right away, because then you'll miss the juiciness of the process of the journey. So when we become slow enough or slow down enough to become aware, we also begin to notice something else, that beneath the noise of the mind, beneath the fear, beneath the emotional weather of the storm, there is that something steady. There is that divine presence that I call the living presence, because this presence is not stagnant. It is living. It is alive. It is what is alive within all of us. That storm may be happening, but the storm is not the total truth of who we are. Because even in the midst of the storm, presence remains. And that uncertainty that is very, extremely uncomfortable, all of a sudden you have the capacity to be with it, to hold it, and to move through it. So I know that when we're standing in the midst of the storm, when we become present enough to truly listen, we can hear that inner guidance that is always there. And I think that's what it means to build an inner sanctuary. Not a place where life becomes perfect, that just is not going to happen, but a place where we feel our true selves, where we can remain connected, a place where we can breathe and know peace when we are also holding distress. You see, we have the capacity to hold all of it. We have the capacity to hold the good and the bad at the same time. But when we go through the storm, a lot of times we go to one side or the other, and we forget that there's another side. We either get consumed by the storm, or we pretend like the storm isn't there. But there is a middle way, and that middle way is to hold both of it and to build the capacity within it. So I want to ask you, what really brought you here today? What really brought you here? I want you to think about it. Was it to experience connection, love, community, trust? Maybe it's peace. Maybe you come here to get refueled for the next week. But really ask yourself, what brought you here today? Because whatever that word is, I want to invite you to let it become more than just a word, more than just an idea, but a felt experience. And this is part of the work that I do, is not just talking about it or intellectualizing it, but bringing these principles into our body, into our life, so we can experience them and live them. So whatever that word is that brought you here, I want you to go ahead and hold your wrist if that feels comfortable. You can put your hand on your heart as well. But I want you to think about that word and bring it into your body, whether you're holding your wrist or hand on your heart. And see if you can allow that, not the idea of the word, but the feeling of the word to enter your body. And just notice, can you take it all the way into your body? Maybe it won't go into your body. Just notice where it is. What we're doing is we're creating what I call a body anchor, so that when we are going through life, maybe even this week, and you feel some discomfort, you can just grab your wrist, and immediately the experience of that word comes into your soul. Because the body learns through repetition and presence, and the body doesn't speak the same language as the mind. The body speaks in metaphors and emotions and feelings. The mind is logical and can trip us up sometimes if we stay there too long. So I invite you to just take this tool with you this week. And whenever you feel like you're off center, you don't have to be in the middle of a major storm. Just go ahead and touch that part of your body and recall what your soul is calling for, and feel it, and see how life changes because of it. So I get the opportunity to be here next week, and I'm really excited. And we're going to continue this theme of not being in the storm, but actually anchoring in presence. So we'll deepen this talk a little bit more about what it is we anchor to when we're going through the storms. And when safety no longer becomes something outside of us, we create that safety within us. So we'll be talking about creating safety within us. And then afterwards, I have a workshop called Sanctuary in the Storm, Living from the Presence Within, where we get to experience creating a larger capacity so that we can walk through life feeling and grounded at the same time. So thank you, everyone. And I know that this is where we begin becoming anchored in truth while we weather the storm. Namaste. And so how good it is to be in community and remember that there is one presence, one power, one love, one life that is living and breathing in and through and as all things. It is the very essence and foundation of all things seen and unseen, known and unknown, imagined and unimagined. And this one presence is the very essence of me. It is the very essence of each person here and beyond. And so I know that this living presence is within us in every moment, and it has never been scathed or touched or damaged by any storm that we have walked through. And so I now know that as we walk through life, that we build an awareness of this presence even greater, that we can anchor ourselves in this truth and know and feel and move through the storms with grace. And so I claim for each one of us here a gift from today, from our life, from the storms that we walk through, one that we can receive that takes us back to ourselves, our true selves, our authentic self. And so I am so grateful for knowing this truth, so grateful for the living presence coming alive in each one of us, so grateful for this budding, amazing, successful spiritual community and all of the people here and those who are to come. And I let it be, knowing that the law has already said yes, and this prayer is answered for each one of us in wonderful, expected and unexpected ways. And I let it be, and together we say, and so it is.
Let joy renew you till we meet again. Band time. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 all together, hand in hand, we see light and make a stand in. We are changing a whole new life for you and me. Set up out and set it free and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, the Spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come to you, make good flow to you, let joy renew you till we meet again. How do we do it? Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Love be with you. Peace enfold you. The Spirit lift you. Breathe it in. Love be to you. Make good flow to you. Let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Love be with you.